right. So today we're going to dive deep into Libra.
Okay.
And I think this is one that people kind of have a surface level understanding of, they know the stereotypes, but we're really going to get into like the psychology of it.
Right.
And this is all thanks to Sepego el Texto.
Yes.
Which is laying it all out for us.
Laying it all out.
And it's really fascinating. So get ready to have your mind blown about Libra.
Yeah, this is one of those signs that I think a lot of the stereotypes are true.
Okay.
But they go so much deeper than people realize.
So let's start with that core drive.
Yes.
Because when I think of Libra, I think of harmony.
Yes.
Right? Like that's the word that comes to mind.
Yes.
But the text kind of takes it a step further.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's not just about keeping the peace on the surface. It's like this a really deep-seated need for balance, both internally and in their external world.
So give me an example of that.
Okay, so imagine a Libra carefully arranging furniture in their home to create a visually pleasing and harmonious space.
Okay, so it's not just making sure the furniture is like arranged just so, but it's more about a deep-seated need for everything to feel aligned.
Exactly. It's about that inner harmony that they're always striving for. Sepego Texto uses this great example of a Libra agonizing over whether to buy a new shirt because they're worried it won't go with anything else in their closet.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about fashion.
Right.
It's about maintaining that internal sense of equilibrium.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about the outward appearance.
Right.
It's really about that inner harmony that they're striving for. And yet, they're also known for being really good mediators.
Yes.
Like they're the people that can smooth things over.
The go-to person for smoothing things over in any situation.
Why is that?
Well, they can see all sides of an argument. They can empathize with everyone involved, and somehow they find a way to bring people together.
But there's a but coming, isn't there?
Well, it makes me wonder, is it always possible for a Libra to be truly objective?
Right.
Or are they sometimes subconsciously pushing their own idea of balance onto the situation? It's something to think about.
That is a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, maybe it's not always pure objectivity.
Right.
Maybe there's a little bit of their own desire for harmony mixed in there.
Exactly.
But I guess that's part of what makes them such good peacemakers.
Possibly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Okay.
And this whole idea of balance, it can also lead to them being notoriously indecisive.
Oh, yeah.
They can overthink things to the point of analysis paralysis.
The overthinking is real.
It is.
I have a Libra friend who, takes forever to make even the simplest decision.
Right.
Like what to order for dinner. It's like a whole existential crisis.
He's like, what to eat?
Every time.
Where to go?
Yeah.
What to wear?
I know.
It's a process.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And the text talks about this. This indecision stems from their desire to make the perfect choice.
The perfect choice, yes.
Right.
The one that satisfies everyone and maintains that sense of equilibrium.
Which, let's be honest, is an impossible standard to...
Right, an impossible standard.
But they try.
They try so hard.
They do.
Bless their hearts.
And speaking of trying to please everyone...
Yes.
We can't forget the influence of Venus.
Okay.
Their ruling planet.
So this is where we get into the whole charming and graceful stereotype, right?
Yes. Venus is all about love, beauty, and harmony.
Okay.
Which adds a whole other layer to the Libra personality.
So they're often seen as the most aesthetically inclined.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
always stylish, put together.
And it's interesting because Venus also rules Taurus.
But it seems like it manifests really differently.
Differently.
In these two signs.
Yes.
Because on the surface, you would think that they would both be all about pleasure and indulgence.
You would think so, but Taurus expresses that Venusian energy through a more grounded, sensual approach.
Okay.
Whereas Libra channels it in a more intellectual and social way.
So give me an example.
Okay, so think of it like this.
Okay.
Taurus enjoys beauty through the senses, while Libra appreciates it through ideas and connections.
So a Taurus might be drawn to a luxurious spa day.
Exactly.
And a Libra might be more interested in a stimulating conversation about art or philosophy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's subtle but fascinating how that same planetary energy can play out so differently depending on the sign.
That's actually blowing my mind a little bit because it's making me realize how much depth there really is to astrology.
Yes. Absolutely.
Beyond just those basic sun sign descriptions. But this desire to please can also be a double-edged sword.
Absolutely.
Right.
It can lead to them being overly focused on external validation, constantly seeking approval from others.
Well, yeah, because if you're always trying to create harmony and beauty, you're going to want people to appreciate it.
Exactly.
Right.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it can also lead to them suppressing their own needs or opinions to avoid rocking the boat.
So it's like this constant internal struggle.
Yes.
Between being their authentic selves and wanting to be liked and accepted by everyone.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, who hasn't felt that tension?
It's a very human dilemma.
At some point, right.
And it's something that Libras grapple with quite intensely.
Okay, so speaking of intense,
okay,
let's talk about love.
Let's do it.
Because Libras are often painted as these hopeless romantics.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Always searching for that fairy tale connection.
Se pegó el texto really emphasizes this.
Yeah.
For Libras, love is all about deep connection, harmony, no surprise there.
Of course.
And those grand romantic gestures.
Okay, so like...
that make you swoon.
Candlelit dinners.
Yes.
Thoughtful gifts.
Exactly.
Heartfelt conversations under the stars.
All of it.
They want it all.
They're all about creating a loving and balanced partnership.
Okay.
Where everything just feels right.
Like a perfectly arranged room, but with emotions instead of furniture.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the downside of all this romantic idealism?
Well, remember Libra's aversion to conflict.
Oh, yeah.
That can definitely show up in their relationships. They might avoid tough conversations.
Okay.
Or bottle up their feelings to keep the peace.
Even though they want harmony, they might be creating an illusion of it.
It's a pattern that can emerge.
Rather than actually addressing the issues.
Definitely.
And then there's the whole idealization of love.
Yeah,
thing.
yes.
Right.
They can get so caught up in this idea of the perfect partner.
Oh, the grass is always greener.
That makes it hard for them to fully commit.
I feel like a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's especially challenging for Libras.
They're constantly weighing the pros and cons.
Yeah.
Trying to find that perfect balance.
It's a constant balancing act.
It is.
For them.
No doubt about it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Libra's core personality.
Yeah.
But how does all of this play out in, like, different areas of their lives?
Right.
Their friendships, their work,
yes,
their family.
That's what we're going to explore next.
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
All right. So we've explored that core Libra personality, that desire for harmony, that ability to see all sides, and yes, that tendency to overthink things a tad.
A tad, yeah.
But I'm curious, how does all of this show up in their relationships?
Oh, that's a great question.
Let's start with friendships.
Okay.
Because everyone loves a Libra friend, right?
Everyone loves a Libra friend.
Like they're just so charming and easy to get along with.
Yeah, the text really dives into this, highlighting how Libra's natural charm and diplomacy make them incredibly likable and supportive friends.
It's like they have this superpower for connecting people.
They do.
Right.
Yeah, they're always introducing you to new friends or organizing gatherings that somehow manage to feel both fun and effortlessly chic.
But, okay, so if they're so focused on keeping things harmonious,
right,
does that mean they always, like, shy away from confrontation?
That's a great question.
What happens if there's, like, a genuine disagreement within the friend group?
Right.
Do they just, like, sweep it under the rug to avoid rocking the boat?
That is something the text touches on.
Okay.
Libras can sometimes struggle with setting boundaries or expressing their true feelings.
Right.
If they think it might disrupt the peace.
Which makes sense given their desire for harmony.
Right.
But wouldn't that ultimately lead to, like, resentment or unspoken issues just kind of festering beneath the surface?
It absolutely can.
Right.
And that's where it becomes important for Libras to learn how to balance their need for peace with their own emotional well-being.
So it's a balancing act, even in friendship.
Always a balancing act.
They got to find that sweet spot.
Right.
Between maintaining harmony and also staying true to themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about work?
Okay.
I imagine that, like, their diplomacy and their collaborative spirit makes them pretty awesome colleagues.
They are fantastic in team environments.
Okay.
The text highlights how their ability to see all sides of an issue makes them excellent negotiators and mediators, especially in situations where there are conflicting opinions or interests.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones that can smooth over any office drama.
Right.
And keep projects running smoothly, even when things get a little tense.
Exactly.
Are there any particular fields that they gravitate towards?
They often excel in careers that allow them to express their creativity and their love of beauty.
Okay.
So the text mentions fields like design, fashion art, and even diplomacy as natural fits for their talents and inclinations.
That makes sense. Those are all fields where aesthetics and balance and interpersonal skills are very important.
Very much so.
But wouldn't their indecisiveness sometimes get in the way?
It's true that tendency to overthink decisions can be a challenge in certain work settings.
Especially in a fast-paced work environment.
Right. They might need to develop strategies for streamlining their decision-making process.
Right.
Or seeking support from colleagues when they feel stuck.
So finding a work environment that values collaboration and allows for some flexibility in decision-making would probably be ideal for them.
I think so.
Okay. And what about family life? How does Libra navigate the complex dynamics of family relationships?
The text emphasizes Libra's role as the peacekeeper within the family.
Okay.
They're the ones who smooth over disagreements, organize family gatherings, and generally try to create a harmonious and loving atmosphere at home.
They're like the glue that holds everything together.
Exactly.
Always making sure everyone feels loved and appreciated.
They value family traditions and put a lot of effort into maintaining those close bonds.
But, like we discussed before,
yes,
that desire to keep the peace can sometimes come at a cost.
It can.
Right.
They might suppress their own needs or opinions to avoid conflict, which can lead to frustration or resentment over time.
So it's important for them to remember that their own needs and feelings are just as important as everyone else's.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's all about finding that balance, as always.
And speaking of balance,
okay,
we've explored how Libra's traits play out in these various areas of their life.
Yes.
But what about the overall picture?
Right.
Like, what are some of their greatest strengths and what are some of the challenges they might face?
Okay, let's zoom out.
Yeah, let's zoom out a little bit.
Look at the big picture. Okay, so we're looking at the big picture.
Yeah, the big picture of Libra.
Yes.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Because every sign has those right.
Absolutely.
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
So let's start with the good stuff. Like, what are some of Libra's greatest strengths?
Well, their charm is legendary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's charming.
It's that Venus energy shining through.
Yeah.
Drawing people in with their grace and diplomacy.
And it's not just superficial charm.
No.
Right?
It's genuine.
Like, they genuinely care about people.
Yes, they do.
And they want to make everyone feel comfortable and included.
Se pegó el texto really emphasizes their empathy and their ability to connect with people.
Okay.
On a deep level.
That makes sense.
They're natural peacemakers.
Yeah.
Always trying to find common ground and create win-win situations.
It's like they have this innate sense of fairness and justice.
Yes.
Always wanting things to be balanced and equitable.
Exactly.
Which honestly is a pretty admirable quality.
It is. And their creativity is another major strength.
Oh, yeah, they're very creative.
They often have a keen eye for aesthetics.
Okay.
And a knack for expressing themselves through art music design.
Or any other form of creative expression.
So it's not just about creating harmony in their external environment.
Right.
It's about bringing beauty and balance into the world
exactly.
through their own unique talents.
Precisely.
But of course, no sign is perfect.
No.
We got to talk about the challenge.
Right, yes.
So what are some of the things that Libras might struggle with?
Oh, we've already touched on their indecisiveness.
The indecision.
Which can definitely hold them back at times.
Oh, the endless weighing of the options.
I know.
It's painful to watch sometimes.
It can be.
Especially when, they just need to make a choice and move forward.
And their desire to please everyone,
yes,
while well-intentioned, can sometimes lead to them suppressing their own needs or opinions.
Oh, absolutely. Right. It's that whole people-pleasing tendency.
Yes.
It can make it hard for them to set boundaries or stand up for themselves when they need to.
And their focus on harmony can sometimes make them avoid conflict altogether.
Even when it's necessary?
Even when it's necessary.
To address the issue.
To address it head on.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're constantly trying to maintain this perfect balance.
Yeah.
But sometimes that means sacrificing their own authenticity.
Yes.
Or avoiding difficult conversations.
That could actually lead to growth.
That could lead to greater growth in the long run.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a delicate dance.
It is.
It takes self-awareness and practice to find that sweet spot.
So for all the Libras out there listening, or anyone who loves a Libra.
Yes.
What would you say is the key takeaway here?
I think the most important thing is to recognize that these tendencies are part of what makes Libra so unique and special.
Okay.
It's about understanding that their desire for harmony comes from a good place, but it's also about encouraging them to embrace their own individuality.
Right.
And express their needs assertively.
And I think for those of us who interact with Libras,
yes,
it's about appreciating their diplomacy and their grace.
Yes.
But also creating a space where they feel safe to be their authentic selves.
Absolutely.
Even if it means a little bit of conflict now and then.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Both within ourselves and in our relationships with others.
Right.
And I think that's a message that resonates with everyone.
Absolutely.
Regardless of their zodiac sign.
We all have our own strengths and challenges.
We do.
And understanding those can help us navigate life with more compassion and self-awareness.
Absolutely.
So to our dear listener, we hope this deep dive into the world of Libra has given you some food for thought.
Yes.
And perhaps even a deeper understanding of yourself and the people in your life.
And who knows, maybe it's even inspired you to embrace a little more harmony and balance in your own world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.